And I'm delighted to say we're joined in the studio by the Tailteann Cup Player of the Year, Westmeath Ronan O'Toole. Ronan, good morning to you.
Morning, lads. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a million for coming in.
No problem at all.
Congratulations.
My pleasure. Thank you.
What a year.
Suspiciously strong Westmeath team to the show all of a sudden.
Listen, maroon and white, Johnny, can we say maroon and white across the board? Congrats, what a year. Topped off by the award, obviously, last Friday. How did you find out about it?
Yeah, it was gas one there. One of the lads from Sligo, he was fitting the Sligo lads in that got the award, and he said, "Did you get one?" And I didn't know at all. And he said, "Check your email." That's what they found out. So I went scrolling down through the email. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, and hoping there was an email, and then found it obviously. And yeah,
the spam section probably is
spam
like, this isn't real.
Who's the first person you see the email? Who's the first person you tell?
Parents. Yeah, the joy in their faces when you tell them is nice. You know, it's for them, for the club obviously, and obviously you represent the county as well. But yeah, family first, as you suppose.
What did they say when you were like, "I won this thing"?
I don't know if I said it like that. I know my dad was always, he was asking me, is there an award, is there an all-star for this? And I was kind of playing it off. I don't know.
Yeah, but, that's right. I'm not sure. I think somebody mentioned it at some point.
He kept asking, when is that? Yeah. My mum actually, she lucky enough got to go. She was in Mexico for 3 weeks, so she came off the flight from LA. She had a connecting flight, so luckily enough she made it straight from the airport to Crow Park for the award, so that was nice that she got to make it as well.
Is the team WhatsApp group, does it go from sort of like the Westmeath group, like tumbleweed, to suddenly is it lit up, or what happens?
Our group, no. We're all together in that. All the lads were sending messages congratulating us, so that was nice. You know, you're representing them as well. As I said, you know, without them, it's the old cliche, without them I wouldn't have been there. It was just lucky enough I got one in the end. Yeah.
There is something special about that team as well, like just the all-stars and seeing going from scanning from top to bottom and seeing the different county colours, like, and I don't know, it's obviously novel, but in your respect, but like there's a lot of tradition there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like it was nice that there was 6 Westmeath representing, and obviously Jack Cooney was there, and our S&C Joan Angle, who's done a lot for us over the years, he got to come as well on the night, so it was nice that we were all together there. You know, it was nearly like a Westmeath table at one stage.
Don't mingle with anybody else.
Yeah.
What did you talk to Jack after it was announced, or how did that work?
Yeah, he actually sent me the job. I missed a call off him, and he sent me the job application for what he was going to do, and I thought he was asking me, did I want this job? I was I'm pretty settled in my job, Jack. And then he called me and he announced it, and you know, it was nearly emotional enough. He's been a big father figure for me over the 4 years, so yeah, I was devastated. And I know his passion for Westmeath football, like if you have a chat with Jack Cooney, Westmeath is mentioned within about 30 seconds. So he's it. I know it was a tough decision for him, but you know, he'll do great in that role as well. He leaves no stone unturned in any role he takes, so I'm sure they've got a good one with Jack.
When you say father figure, what does that mean, like in practical terms?
Just his man management skills, to me personally and to all the lads, were brilliant. He's kind of the arm around the shoulder when you need it, and then he's the kick up the backside as well, when he knows when you're not at it. So in that sense, he was brilliant. He was always there for a chat, and even I was chatting to him at the awards, he said his door is always open. Do you know? Shows the character kind of in the man.
That you mentioned, we had him on a few weeks ago, and we were talking about his new role, and we were talking about obviously the year that's been and all that stuff, and he was talking about that Westmeath aspect of things, and it's not something you hear that often from the so-called weaker counties. There tends to be, I'm constantly on about the elitism in GAA, and you know, these are conversations that tend to happen around the Kerry and Donegal's, but it was really encouraging to hear him talk about, you know, we're Westmeath people and the importance of having Westmeath people in the backroom team, and the importance of leaving the Westmeath jersey in a better place. Is that? Yeah,
that was something that was evident, you know, even before games. We'd all have to put on the jersey together, and he'd say, like, you know, Westmeath people have come and gone, this is your time, respect the jersey kind of thing. He had this little abbreviation or acronym that he used. It was called 4ARV, and he used to put it under each message. it was why do you play? So we had a team meeting at the start of the year, and it was why do you play? And the three words that came out of it was family, opportunity, and respect or recognition. And he would put that under every message he sent, and it was something that would get the brain reset before you go out to a big game and say, why do you play? Like, you know, it was.
Jeez, that's
it was a nice touch.
Was that did you do some work with David Sharkey? Is that right? Is that where that came from, or was that?
Yeah, no, I think that's all Jack.
Is it? Okay.
I'm not sure now. I'm not sure.
I don't want to be taking. I
don't want to take any credit, but you'll have to ask Jack and Dave on that one. Who wants to claim that?
And what? So David Sharkey, some people are familiar with. He's done some work around theming. It's become a big buzzword around sports, and he's done work with McGarra and La Rochelle, and it's become a thing. And somebody mentioned to me during the week that he was in with you guys as well this year.
He was in with our guys. So the one he used with us was Katie Taylor. I know Jack was referencing it before, and he would before. It was the Tailteann Cup, I think it started, and it was like our journey was similar to Katie Taylor's journey. You get knocked down and you have to come back up again, and that was kind of like us. When we lost to Kildare, I think we took the Tuesday night off after we lost that, and we all came in together as a group, and we were like, we're going to give this a good rattle. And that was kind of similar to the Katie Taylor story. When she lost one of her fights and she had to come back, and he would do various clips. The work he did was fantastic. So yeah, that was the team we kind of had as Westmeath was Katie Taylor.
What was was that the collective like panel asked you to the Tailteann Cup? Because we mentioned Zach Moradi. Like Zach Moradi's point in Croke Park, I think playing the Leitrim colours, playing hurling would mean a lot more to me than like someone from Kilkenny in some respects, where you want to see the so-called weaker counties progress. Like how did everyone take to the Tailteann Cup and the opportunities that, because there's a lot of scepticism as well.
Yeah, no, I suppose, and I just mentioned it there. Jack gave us the Tuesday night off after we lost Kildare, just kind of reset the bodies. And we came in on Thursday and we had a group huddle, and he went through the reasons why winning this would be so good. And I think it's evident enough from the scenes of Mullingar.
Did you need convincing?
No, I didn't. Anyways, there was silverware on the line, 2 days in Croke Park on the line, and four matches. Like, as GA players, you want to play more games. Like, we played six championship games this year. That's the most. I think the max I played was maybe 4 in a season before that. COVID year 1, lost Dublin, and then the other years were 2 or 3. So we played 6 this year, and you could see in our game, like, we got progressively better as the games went on. There was better cohesion. Like, you're training more with the forwards. Even like myself, Lorcan and Luke and John would be was the 4 main up there, and you could see our movement patterns. We were there was better cohesion with us. So yeah, that's why there was buy-in. We wanted to play more games and grow as a team, and exposure to younger lads as well. A lot of lads got their first outing in Croke Park this year, first championship game this year. Robbie Ford, Nigel Hart, Charlie Drum started against Carlow full back when Kevin Guire was out, did brilliantly. So like, those lads got a lot of experience in the year as well.
We won't know the value. Like, it's very obvious to say that, like, the value of that should be that the gap starts to close between Westmeath and, let's say, in terms of Leinster. There was only 3 points in Kildare match, but in reality it felt like it might have been a little bit more. What's your sense of, because I was interested when Jack was on with us before, he talked about like Leinster being realistic or an openly spoken about ambition for the team, and I was a bit struck by it, I have to say, because I didn't because Dublin are here and then everybody else is sort of down here a little bit, certainly in terms of Leinster. Do you think a run like that can help close that gap to Dublin, and is Leinster a realistic ambition for you next year?
To be honest, Leinster was never really talked about prior to last year as an ambition to win it. We took it game by game, but before this year we wanted to give it a good crack. Now we fell short of that. But yeah, hopefully the bit of experience from last year will help close that gap. I suppose you have to be ambitious as an athlete to hopefully want to lift that Tailteann Cup. But yeah, we'll see what the next few seasons bring.
And the Kildare game was interesting to hear you talk about that, like, because was it 3 points in it in the end?
Yeah.
Was it like, so we in the dressing room afterwards, it was like, I presume you were pretty devastated about the whole thing. It takes a while before you start to get your head around, well, there's something else to play for here almost.
Yeah, I was just devastated about the performance. To be honest, we probably let in a cheap enough goal at the start. Like, I think we were 1-2 up to maybe 1 or 2 points.
10 seconds in, you're like, this is going well here.
Yeah, luckily enough.
Was that a training ground move, or was that no?
Where was the Kildare defence, I'm wondering?
I don't know. Wally just saw a gap and
they're dealing with a future all-star here, like, you know.
Yeah, he took flight. But yeah, no, I was just
and you go ahead too early in him, like, you know, you look at Pats went. I was telling Pats against Rovers. Pats went ahead after 4 minutes the other night, and they were battered afterwards. Like, and is it possible to? I know it's a cliche, but like, did you get a false sense of, oh my God, what's happening here?
I don't think so in that game, but I agree with your point in that it can happen in games when you get a lead. You can tend to sit off, hold on to the ball a little bit longer, and you might regret that. Yeah.
So when you come in after the Kildare game, then do you start out in the whole like process, so to speak, because you're just saying that wasn't our performance? Like, why?
Yeah, I was devastated after the Kildare game. I needed that Tuesday off just to get the head right, because we gave so much with it. I was actually just coming back from injury, so I would have been kind of half injured playing the Longford game, so I was feeling fresh enough after that. So that's why it was devastating for me, because I was just back fit. I would have played injured nearly. I didn't really train during the league. I just played games, and then we played our last game in Belfast in Antrim, and then I would have went to Cap Hospital and got a cortisone injection. I had a bit of osteitis pubis in my groin, so I needed a rest on that. So it was frustrating in the sense that I was just back feeling great, and then boom, you're sank back down.
What age are you?
At 25, you had to think about that.
And it feels like you've never been, you know, the run of games helps, but that you know, your progression has been steady building, and like to become a point where you're obviously picking up this award and been one of the most important players in that team now.
Yeah, I suppose. I think I'm coming into my 6th year now. So yeah, I like Lomans was a big help for me as well. You know, having a great club team there. I would have went in. Like my first year in Lomans, we won the championship, and then we did 3 in a row. Like I remember going in the Monday, into the Monday club and saying, "This is great. Like, this is easy, you know, 3 in a row." But then
it's happened every year.
Yeah, we found out about it doesn't happen every year. But yeah, the club was a big one for me. How they progressed me in a way, and how they took me under the wing, a lot of the older lads. And then even in Westmeath, like, there's a lot of lads there that would be giving you a few nuggets there. Jerry Egan as well, and obviously John in the club.
What's it like training with him week in, week out? He's like, he doesn't get spoken about often enough, but he's Michael Murphy-esque, I think, in his style of play, and certainly his influence on that team.
Yeah, he's great. There's a bit of wrestling now, I'd say, with the fullback. I'd say the fullbacks don't like him. Right. Yeah. When he doesn't get the ball, I think they know about it rather than the forwards. But no, he's great. Yeah, he's great. Teammate and captain for Lomans as well. You know, huge servant over the years. I think this is like his 13th season or something with Westmeath, which is
crazy.
mad.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, he's been a huge servant.
Funny you say when you missed the start. You missed much the league in terms of training. Like, do you think that the counties get it right in terms of the amount of training that club and county players do, or could less be more?
It's probably my fault in a sense. I didn't tell the management. I always want to play out there. Like, I was training through an eagle, and it got progressively worse. But I think it was the 9th of December. We lost Port Harrington. I had 1 or 2 weeks break, and it was straight back into county, and probably a bit of rest would have been no harm. But I would take that onus on me to say that rather than management knowing how I am. I always like training, but when you're carrying a niggle, you probably shouldn't be.
What you mentioned about some of the players giving you a few hints and tips and stuff. How much work do you do with Desi on the art of being a forward?
Yeah, so there's a split there. John Keane would take the backs and Desi would take the forwards. So there's always a bit of competition there. But no, Desi's great. Like, he came in this year and like instantly everyone know, and I'd say I'm speaking on behalf of all the team there, like we just sat back and we're just like, wow. Right,
really?
This lad knows his stuff.
In terms of his what?
Just the way he was talking in games and doing the right things, you know, keeping it. I remember he said something, just do the basics right and the rest will come. Like, and that's something I always kind of take into big games now. If you're ever nervous, kind of just do the basics right, good start, and then the rest will come after that, kind of.
Would you be nervous?
No, I'm not. I'm all right for that. Yeah. Listen to a few tunes on the way up. I'm the DJ, as you call it, in the dressing room. So
here we go.
No, yeah. So no, a bit of music. No, I'm not too bad for nerves, thankfully enough. Just kind of just keep the same routine. So.
Is he working with you on the specific detail of stuff, like where you're one-on-one and you're probably teaching him a thing or two about the sidestep? But outside of that, is he working on the specific detail of, like, how detailed?
I think he works more on groups. Right. Obviously, if you have any questions, he's open always. But as a forward unit, I think more so. And like this year, I think was the most evident of that. Where I used to be kind of more so outer 11, would do most of my work in the middle third, where I found myself and John maybe switching between 11 and 14 more so this year, and even Luke as well. Like, Luke can play in 11, and then you've always Lorcan with the depth in there. So I think as a unit he brought more structure to us, especially from a forward's perspective, knowing where to be at the right times. That was something I definitely took. Was a great takeaway this year anyways. Yeah,
we'll see how he goes in the main job obviously now over the next few years as well.
We will indeed.
Look forward to watching on. Pleasure chatting to you over the last 20 minutes. Thanks a million for coming in.
Thank you, no problem. Thanks, lads.
Tailteann Cup Player of the Year, Ronan O'Toole from Westmeath.